Unfortunately, marriage problems after retirement is a big issue. Baby boomers continue to divorce more than any other age group. And by the way, between 1990 and 2012, the divorce rate for people aged 55 to 64 doubled. And for those older than 65 at that time, that number more than tripled. In this video, I'm gonna share 5 tips to help you get your marriage back on track and successfully navigate this phase of life together. In case you're new, I'm Cyn Meyer, the founder of Second Wind Movement and a life coach for older adults who are striving to turn their retirement years into their best years, full of purpose and meaning. And of course, a big part of that is your relationships. And the one with your spouse is at the top of the list. I see this all the time, more than you know. It can be hard for retirement age couples who have been together for decades to keep the romance alive once you retire from your career, because your dynamic shifts, your daily rhythm is completely rocked, and you're also going through a big identity shift on your own when entering retirement. So that's quite an adjustment for any dynamic. So let's dive into our first tip today. Number 1, clarify your why. Since meeting your partner and falling in love with them, what has kept you together? Take a walk down memory lane and relive your first date or the moment when you knew that they were the one. It's all about remembering why you fell in love with them in the first place, their quirks, their silly sense of humor, or even just how they always knew what to say when something was bothering you. And then understanding your why now. You are designed to change, grow, evolve, develop at every life stage, and retirement is no different. In fact, in my book, retirement is the beginning of a big growth journey, which makes getting along with someone else that you may or may not be growing out with at the same pace even more challenging. So dig into your why. Contemplate and find clarity on the qualities that are important to you now. Can your partner truly live up to your now expectations? Now's the time to reflect on this question and revisit the foundational basics of your relationship needs. What's equally as important is to be crystal clear about your own needs and wants in marriage during this current life phase. If you're not 100% clear, there's a very slim chance that your spouse knows how to live up to your expectations. Sometimes being super clear on your own stuff and then realizing that you're shifting into a new life phase and growing in unexpected ways, finding clarity on that first can make all the difference, because it puts you in a powerful position to focus on your own stuff and not going to all the wrong places, aka your spouse, to fill those important needs. Number 2, reflect on what caused the marriage problems. After retirement, it can be hard to remember what caused your marriage problems. You may have had a series of small disagreements that snowballed, or you might not even know exactly what the problem is anymore, and you just simply fell into a habitual dynamic that just feels disconnected. So a powerful way to break up even the most stubborn disconnections is to reflect on the big picture and then write down your thoughts in an organized way about what caused this relationship to go south. Jotting down your thoughts is more than just a way to identify patterns. Writing is a therapy that benefits both your body and your mind. And in case you're one for benchmarks and supposed norms, usually the main reasons for divorce are lack of commitment, infidelity, conflict, and arguing. But that's not to say that there isn't something much deeper at the root. These top reasons are what results on top at the shallow level after things have been brewing beneath. So dig deeper and deeper in your reflections and consider your own needs and triggers and beliefs and past traumas and behaviors. Easier said than done, because there are long processes for uncovering this stuff, but you can get started with a solid reflection process on your own. Number 3, communicate, aka listen. Communication is one of the most important aspects of a marriage. It's something that can be nurtured and cultivated over time, not taken for granted or neglected when it gets hard. But it's a tricky one. We have a tendency to misunderstand communication because we use our own feelings as a reference point for our needs being met or unmet, and tend to not consider our partner's feelings as much when things get heated. And so we tend to focus on what our partner is doing or saying wrong. It of course takes 2 to tango, and you have the most power over regulating your own emotions. And that's where healthier communication starts to happen. In practical terms, to maintain healthy communications with your partner, self-regulate, self-soothe, self-connect. Then when you're communicating, be mindful of how much you talk at any given time. Listen carefully to what they're saying and don't instantly react. Definitely don't interrupt, and then empathize with them. Validate their emotions and make them feel heard. By really holding space to hear them, which is very challenging, especially in the heat of the moment, this will change everything. Remember that good marriages are built on consistent, transparent, and compassionate communication. There's, of course, no universal approach to relationships. What works like a charm for some couples, others will struggle with. But one thing is true across the board. The more both partners clearly communicate and understand first themselves and then each other, the more you'll both feel valued and heard, and then you can get your needs met. Number 4, reconnect through new shared interests. No married adults should ignore dating, and ideally, you'd always be dating your spouse. Research shows that shared activities improve marital satisfaction, especially if they're new for both parties. Best of all, it takes just 7 minutes of participating in shared activities to feel the positive effects. Plus, by learning new things together, your relationship only becomes stronger. Since neither of you is an expert in the new activity, both of you are bound to make mistakes. And these mistakes are an opportunity to work together and express vulnerability. And there's nothing like sharing your vulnerability that'll bond you closer to another person. Sometimes new experiences can provide a different perspective on your partner, so it's worth searching for novel hobbies and activities or events for couples that will reignite your marriage. Number 5, forgive quickly. Last but not least is to flex your forgiveness muscles. Fights are a normal part of any relationship, and studies even show that couples who argue together stay together because it means that they voice their issues and resolve them together. We all have baggage, and we all make mistakes and have challenges that give us context to learn life lessons. The difference between a successful marriage and an unsuccessful marriage is about both partners being willing to forgive quickly enough to the point where there's minimal space for anger to grow into resentment. So anything you can do to work on the same team to solve problems and resolve conflict and approach challenges will help. And of course, forgiveness is also much easier said than done. And it's often an entire journey and a lifestyle and not just a single event. A helpful way to frame forgiveness is for you and not for others. And as Mel Robbins put it, forgive others not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. And if you're looking for some guidance on forgiveness, Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt's The Gift of Forgiveness tells the story of forgiveness from the perspective of several amazing individuals who overcame major resentment through their forgiveness journeys. Incredible stories in there. And this is a related bonus tip. One practice that we've seen work wonders over and over is to write daily in a gratitude journal. And not just any gratitude journal, specifically write about how and why you are grateful for your spouse. And you can get nitty-gritty into the details too. The more detailed, almost like the better. Feel free to write about all of it, like the beginning of your relationship, your current years, big things, little things, they all count. Do this consistently for 2 months and see what happens. More than likely, things will feel so much more aligned. To recap our 5 tips for rekindling passion in marriage after retirement, clarify your why, then and now, and then get super clear on your innermost current desires and authenticity. Take some steps back and reflect on the bigger picture of what caused the marriage problems at the root. Work on communicating your clarity, your needs, your expectations, and also really listen and hold space for your partner's perspective to see if you can work as a team. Reconnect through new shared interests and experiences to create a closer bond, and forgive quickly. It's about freeing yourself from the past pains and resentment and giving yourself the gift of peace and the power to move on. Bonus tip, gratitude is so powerful. If you want to use it to repair your marriage, focus on gratitude journaling about your spouse. Even the best marriages take work. If you're experiencing marriage problems after retirement, it's really time to focus on what you want on your own and fully understand and know how you can feel your best on your own, and then work in the dynamic with your spouse. If anything, to get super clear on what you want. Like anything worth doing, you just need to put in some consistent effort. And remember, you're not alone. This is super common. So thank you so much for being here and for striving to be your best during retirement. We need more people like you to help shift our culture to be better. Please like, share, and subscribe and comment on this video. Every engagement that you make with our videos helps us do a better job of creating helpful content for this important audience of older adults. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.